As always, guys, this is just for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I want to talk about Meatech, MITC, listed on the Nasdaq. So it had its IPO last year in March, and it came on the market at $10 a share. And since then, the share has been pretty much devastated to 356. And I'm holding the share. It's a very, very small position in my portfolio. I'm not buying anything additional right now, but I haven't sold either yet. And I think I'm not making this video to try to pump this stock or to get anyone to invest in this stock. That's all your own decision. But I do want to explain on why I decided to hold this stock for now. So when we're looking at the earnings, so for the very first time that I've been watching this stock, there has been one analyst who dared to make some predictions about potential revenues and earnings. I mean, yeah, this is kind of the timing that I would expect that some earnings would pop up. Actually, to be honest, I would already expect to see a few from next year. So this is probably a conservative analyst, but it's really hard to say because Meatech is not really giving out anything. So what does a company do? A company just explains what they're doing, what we're planning to do, and the guessing games are up to the analysts. And it is nice to see that we're going to get some revenue in a few years. So that means that if it's really true and the company can hold above water, because yeah, it has no revenue, it has no profit. So that's a good question to ask. And in this current market with inflation up, where loan lending is becoming more expensive, we have to ask ourselves, can this company stay above water? And what if it can't? But first I want to have a look at the balance sheet. So what do we see? We see it has it has no debt. So basically it has no debt, and I think that's pretty amazing. Yeah, you can see or as good as no debt, no debt, and it has a lot of equity. So the good thing. So what is the equity? So it's equity. It's both cash. We do see its cash has been dropping. So we're seeing here about every quarter about almost 20 million a year. So we see it can probably last not that much longer with its cash. So from that time, it will have to start taking on debt. The good thing is that the company has quite a bit of assets, so it would be possible to take on debt. The other alternative would be to find one additional investor. One additional investor or multiple additional investors. So one investor was Cult Food Science, announced an investment in Meatech. But it's really like a question of how did they invest in Meatech? They might have just bought some shares on the stock market, and there's no idea how much shares they bought. They Cult Food Science, they invest very small amounts, so it just might be a very, very small amount on the stock market that they invested. The other thing would be share dilution, so they could be diluting their shareholders. I haven't found anything about that yet. And yeah, they could also look for a private investor, I guess. So we know already Leonardo DiCaprio is invested in Cult Food Science. So we do have to wonder, would he be willing to either invest some more, or maybe he has better connections to look for a better investment. So I think this is probably my biggest risk stock in my entire portfolio. But I am wondering, like, what if Meatech does not find an investment? Then I would think the stock price will drop and the company will become a very attractive takeover. That would be a really shame, but their technology would be worth a takeover from a meat company, from meat producing of the classical meat industry. That would be such a shame. So I hope that's really not going to happen. They have a lot of patents on their name, and they have their 3D food printer. which can produce steaks. And I'm invested in cultivated meat, and I haven't really seen that technology before. So technology is really amazing. I'm a big fan of this. I hope to taste it one day. And I think Meatech is aware that they have to start generating revenue. And one thing they do announce here is a plan to offer third-party players an added revenue stream to accelerate commercialization. So I think, yeah, Meatech does not have quarterly reporting, but I hope really to see something more about their plans. And maybe that also could lead to a growth in revenue next year. So it's hard to say. And anyway, so why do I stay invested? No debt, great technology, large amount of patents, and the company is generally cheap. So it's only trading for 44 million euros. So I mean, it's not a very, very high price. So that's why I stay invested. Guys, always do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.